Hello and welcome to the Economic Talks. Today, I, Durgesh Singh, Senior Research Fellow in the Department of Applied Economics, I am here to present before you a lecture series on the topic Requisites of a Good Research Paper. This particular lecture series will be comprising of three parts. Part 1 we'll discuss about the elements of a good research paper. In part 2, we'll be talking about the journals that are listed in UGC CARE. And in the third part, I'll be discussing with you all about the journals that are listed under international publications, whether it is SAGE, Scopus, Elsevier or any other journal or publishing house for that matter. So let's begin with the series part 1, which comprises of elements of a good research paper. Now, the first and foremost thing that we need to focus upon when we are writing a research paper is the originality and innovation. Whenever we are making up our mind to write a research paper, the first thing that comes to our mind is an idea. That particular idea should be innovative and original. One thing we need to understand that research itself says redefining or researching a particular term that has already been explained in better terms. Now, what innovation we can bring to an existing knowledge, what differences we can create through our work, that will constitute your innovation part. And obviously it should be an original piece of work. You cannot copy it from somewhere and say that you have prepared it. It has to be original. You have to deviate from what others have done. You have to find a new angle to the existing theory and the existing study. Second thing that we need to focus upon is the clear research objectives. Why and for what reason you are constituting this research, why you are writing this research paper, what is your basic objective behind it, that should be very, very clear, which will help you write a better research paper, and there will be better chances of getting it published in a good journal. Because until and unless you are clear with the objectives, you cannot convince people who are reading your research paper. You cannot provide them a good database for which they can refer your paper. Next thing that we need to focus upon is thorough literature review. See, every study has an existing literature, and we need to find out the existing literature that is there for that particular study. Now, saying that this is an innovative concept and this is an original piece of work merely does not satisfy what you are doing. You might have got some kind of inspiration, you might have read some articles, not exactly same but more or less closely related to what you are doing. Only then you can pursue your research further. So literature review is very, very important whether you are writing a research paper or you are writing your thesis, because you need to refer, you have to mandatorily refer to what people have already done in your field. Next we have is methodological rigor. What methodology you will be using? See, this is a general myth in the market of research that I believe is that until and unless you are applying some tools or some mathematical techniques or mathematical equations, your papers will not get published. This is just a mere concept that people are just following over a period of time. Nowadays, researchers are excessively focusing upon qualitative research as well. Whether we talk about behavioral economics, we are talking about consumer behavior, we are talking about the preferences of people towards any new digital medium that has been adopted, all these come under the qualitative purview. So it is not necessary that you apply some kind of mathematical algorithm, you apply some kind of mathematical equation to get your paper published. Your language has to be clear, your methodology has to be clear as to what you have done, and at the very first place you need to be satisfied with what you are doing. Next we have data analysis and interpretation. Whatever data you have taken, whether secondary or primary, it has to be analyzed in a proper way. If you are taking a secondary data, the sources need to be clearly mentioned, and here in this particular point that I am telling you, data analysis and interpretation, most of the time papers are rejected because proper citations are not mentioned in the paper, because you are not giving proper references. So when you are using a secondary data, when you are using somebody's already mentioned work, whether in the introduction part or you're using it in the in any other part, you need to give credit for that. And this is why references are made mandatory in good publications. So when you're doing data analysis and interpretation also, if it is a primary study, obviously you will be writing author's analysis. But if it is a secondary study, you need to mandatorily mention that from where you have taken the data, and whatever analysis you're doing, it has to be very, very clear. And that clarity will come only when you are clear in your mind about what you're going to do. Next, we have clear and logical structure. Obviously, you need to be satisfied first with what you are doing. Only then you can make others understand what is your actual piece of work. Because see, people will always refer papers that are into good publications, but if it is very typical, if it is not easily understandable by the people, if it is not easily understandable by the scholars, they won't refer you. Not every scholar is mathematically sound. So there will be times when they will be referring to your paper and understanding through the theoretical part as to what you have done. So that needs to be clear, precise and logical. What contribution your paper will be making to the existing field of knowledge? See, as I told you, the topic that you will be choosing might be possible many people have already done the research on it, or might be possible it is quite a new concept, more or less. But whether new or old, existing or completely a new theory, whatever contribution it is making to the field, that has to be mentioned very, very clearly, because only then the journals will be interested in publishing your paper as to how it is benefiting the policy makers in the economy. So as of now, what I believe that I have covered all the relevant points of a good research paper. If there are any questions, you can mention down in the comment section below, or those who are there in the university or belong to the department, you can come and directly consult me if there are any queries that you have regarding the requisites of a good research paper. That's all. Thank you. We'll meet in the second part.